you're doing well. Last few weeks we've had the newest flu epidemic. These things happen. Doesn't matter how hard you try to avoid things, these things happen. My own personal opinion, which means absolutely nothing and has no justification whatsoever, certainly no foundation when it comes to any kind of medical understanding or knowledge, is that after 2 years of just being isolated and wearing masks and just being separated from people, we got all that catching up to do for our immune system. So we're all going to get a little sick every now and then, and that's just the way it's going to be. Until we get that immune system kicked in again. Well, I hope you're doing well. I've been through that little flu time, and yeah, it wasn't any fun. Just wasn't any fun. I don't know how else to describe it. Look, let me talk to you just for a moment. When the Word of God talks about our shepherd, we all know the verse in Psalm 23 that he's the good shepherd, but he leads us beside still waters or quiet waters. For a sheep, that would be incredibly important, because wool, being so heavily weighed down with wool, they would drown, and the slightest bit of turbulence would be sucked right down. So for them, still waters was a very important part of shepherding. But for you and me, I just want you to realize that God doesn't bring us into conflict. Conflict comes. It comes from without. It comes from within. We understand that we live in a world full of conflict right now. Today, they haven't been able to decide on a Speaker of the House because there's still conflict. It's a representative government. People have opinions. They represent their constituency. They don't all agree. Thank God it's not just a democracy where the majority rules. If so, not one minority would have any say in our system. So we have the best that we can produce, and yet conflict is all around us. There's conflict in your heart, conflict in your mind, conflict in your thinking. We all know the verses. We know about the God of this world and the prince and the power of the air, so I'm not going to go through those. But I just want you to realize this, that Jesus Christ offered us peace. He said, I'm leaving peace with you. And the world can't provide peace like this in John 14:27. It's not something the world can give you. It actually becomes the means by which we kind of officiate our life, it says in Colossians 3:15, the way that we evaluate life. Do I have peace with God? That's a big deal, because if not, no matter how good it may be, it's a trap. It's going to be a problem in the end. And we know that this peace, oftentimes in Philippians 4:7, passes understanding. I mean, we might not be able to comprehend why we have peace, but we do. Now, with all the events that have occurred in the recent days of my family, I can tell you, and much of it I won't even begin to discuss and wouldn't discuss. Things that just no one knows about, but are troubling. That I have to find peace, and it certainly is going to be found on this earth. And Sue and I have oftentimes just been sitting on the couch together and thanking God that we have each other and that we have peace that comes from Him. Just peace. That it's not based on our circumstance or the situations or any of those other elements that so often affect us. Just peace. This is the peace that Jesus gave us. This is the peace that guards our heart. This is the peace that we get because we can come into the presence of God and we realize that He's greater than all of these circumstances, situations, all the pomp and all the details that seem to be so important in the world today, greater than all of it. It's a peace that comes at the very feet of Jesus Christ at his throne of grace in Romans 5:1. I don't know about you. I like that kind of peace. I'm glad that my God doesn't lead me into conflict. Now, conflicts come. He leads me to still waters. I can have peace and rest in him no matter what is going on around me. So can you. It's one of the benefits we have as believers. What an incredible benefit. Till next time, friends. God bless.